Alrighty, I do believe we are live. Hello, hello, everyone. If you're just joining, go ahead. All right, perfect. If you can hear me and see me okay, please go ahead and say hello. Let me know. Give me a one or a thumbs up if you can hear the audio okay. I think you can because it was working on my end. I apologize for the delay. It took a few more minutes to wrap up the call that I was on, so we are ready to dive in here. Let me just check and make sure I'm on the right microphone and that I can hear. Let's see. Yeah. All righty. That sounds good. All right. So welcome in. If you're just joining me for the first time from Course Creators Academy, a huge welcome to each and every one of you. I am absolutely thrilled that you are here, that you have joined us. It's been an incredible time for the last few weeks as we just wrapped up the beta launch and for Course Creators Academy with getting our next round of beta students in there. I like to launch these programs a couple of times to really make sure that we have like ironed everything out and made sure that everything that I've put into the curriculum, everything, all of the resources, the coaching, the tools that we've really identified, all of the things that you need to set you up for success and to really build this together with you to make sure that it is giving you all of the tools, all of the resources, all of the coaching, everything that you need to create a profitable and scalable online course and coaching program that helps you to gain clients and generate income into your business on autopilot. So it's been a really exciting time. And if you are still just kind of like getting your feet wet and jumping into the community, make yourself familiar with the classroom. We have everything already loaded up in the classroom for you, all of the lessons, all of the resources in the classroom. If you haven't already, I invite you to join the Facebook group. So we have a community, the Course Creator Academy Inner Circle on Facebook. You would have received that invitation in your welcome email as well. So you can look into that to be able to grab all of the links to access all of your goodies. So you'll be able to access the online classroom. You'll be able to access the online community as well to be able to build connection. If you haven't already, go ahead and say hello, introduce yourself into the community. Let us know who you are, what your business is, or what your course creation idea is for your first or your next course. And let us know as well where you are on socials. Go ahead and drop your handles on those social media platforms so we can make sure to follow you over on your socials as well. So, and then if you are already in the group, as people are just entering our new community or the community this round, go ahead and introduce yourself, make connections with one another, let them know who you are, let them know, if you're on this live stream or you're catching the replay and you're a student of mine from the past, maybe you're an alumni student that's rejoining with me, or you've been in the academy for a bit of time now, just go ahead and say hello, welcome our new members, and let them know, what you like about the course, what maybe tips and tricks that you have that you can share. Also, I encourage you to partner with an accountability buddy because that always really helps to not be on this journey alone. The journey of online course creation and building your own business can be a very lonely journey and easy to get stuck in your head, and it's not necessary. You can make some of your best friends and best buddies here inside the community. So please take advantage of that. As well as you never know where you're going to find your next partner, like your next collaboration partner. So there's a lot of people, we're in all different kind of niches that could potentially supplement the niche or supplement your course that you are creating. For instance, or maybe serving the same audience from a particular angle. so you could partner together to be able to get in front of each other's audiences and provide value to your students by collaborating together. So that's also an opportunity to do that. And we have, if you look in the Facebook group, you'll see collaboration corners where if you're looking for someone to collaborate with, you can go ahead and post, who you're looking for or introduce yourself in the collaboration corner and just letting people know that you're open to working together in collaboration opportunities with other people to kind of just like let us know who you are and who your audience is and who you're helping. And that way we can identify opportunities. And not only, does it help you by getting in front of each other's audiences, because you never know, like, we don't wear all the hats, right? We're not an expertise of everything. So you never know who can help to broaden that experience for your clients and give them the other pieces of content or training and skill development that maybe you don't offer, but that could also round out your programs and make your programs more robust for your students. So please take advantage of that. Also, we have opportunities inside Course Creators Academy Inner Circle to share your offers as well. So you'll see pinned theme days in there where you can go ahead and share over what your freebies are, what your paid offers are. So again, like your fellow students inside the academy could also be good candidate clients for you as well, and vice versa. So make sure that you go through all of that. Again, just big welcome. Whether you're just getting started, this is this is your first course, you're just trying to get that idea out of your mind, turn that idea into an online course or coaching program. Or maybe you've launched before and you didn't get the results that you were expecting in that particular launch. I just want you to know that you're in the right place, because we're going to be in this live training, as well as what you will see in all of the modules in Course Creators Academy. We're going to be diving into all of those biggest questions that you've had around course creation. And I'm going to be walking you through the real strategies, the examples, the biggest wins, things that I've experienced, things that my students have experienced as we're going through this, as well as the mindset shifts, because mindset plays a factor into everything that we do as online business owners. And the more you up level, the more you also have to up level your mindset. So it's not kind of a one and done thing. It's always working on my mindset. And I think that's where your real power actually lies in, because that's a real thing that you have the ability to be able to transform, is your mindset, to empower and equip you to be able to become that version of you, that leader of the company that you are desiring to build, whether you are looking to scale a 6-figure business, 7-figure business, 8-figure business, and beyond. It is all possible for you, based on really identifying what that North Star decision is, like what you're really trying to go after and what you're trying to create, and where you are right now, and really understanding how to bridge that gap and how to really work with yourself to get to that level. So before we dive in with all of that, if that's all fair, if you have any questions as we're going along, I do have the chat open up on YouTube as well. So feel free to drop your questions in here, and I will answer them as we're going along today. And I also will check the Facebook group too to see if you've dropped any questions in the Facebook group, and I can answer those as we're going along. Let me just refresh my screen here. So how are you all feeling with everything today? Let me know. All right, so just some quick reminders. On May 29th, so on Thursday, May 29th, you will have seen I posted a post in the Inner Circle that I'm hosting the 1 Hour to Course Clarity workshop. So I'd like to invite you all to the round 2 of this workshop that I'm hosting this month. Each month, my strategy for continuing to grow Course Creators Academy with attracting new leads to the academy, nurture, and to move towards conversion is by running monthly workshops. So we talk more about launch strategy and Course Launch Mastery Society, but basically that is the conversion event that I've committed to growing my business in 2025 and potentially beyond. So this would be by hosting monthly workshops. And kind of the way I do that is by creating that event, and then I run paid marketing to those particular events. So I pay for traffic via like a meta ad. You can also do it through running Google ads and so forth. But it's basically once you have your offer, then you want to drive traffic to that offer to be able to get it in front of the people that are the true market for or in market for the particular offer that you're providing. So launching with a workshop is my launch strategy or my conversion event for 2025. So each month we will be diving deeper into a segment of online course creation based on what I'm seeing my students are really needing additional support with. So as right now, those workshops are free when you show up live for the workshop, and then you get free access to the workshop for 48 hours and all of the tangible resources. And after that, then the workshop is then packaged into a paid offer. And right now I'm testing pricing starting at $3 just to really validate that idea through paid marketing, paid traffic via the meta ads. And then that price will increase. So as a member of Course Creators Academy, you automatically get all of the workshops, the mini courses, so to speak, and all of the tangible resources as an additional bonus for being a member and as a thank you for being a member of Course Creators Academy. But anybody that's not in the academy, what they will then be able to have the opportunity to opt in, come join me live in the workshop together. I'm also this round offering a 3-day pop-up support group. So I'll be able to work with the students that are inside the workshop at an even deeper level to make sure that all of your questions are answered, that my eyes are on your offers, everything that we're working through, and that you can get real live support and feedback as well as collaborate with one another. There'll be some exciting prizes, things like that. And then after the 3 days, then I will make the pitch into the next round of CCA for new students to be able to come into, and then that replay will come down. Those all the replays will come down and they'll be packaged up into the online portal. And then I will then put them for sale and again, running traffic to them through meta ads as well as promoting it organically. So that is my strategy. If that sounds something like you're interested in, let me know. If you want to kind of come support the event, be part of the event, get a jump start on your online course, it's a great opportunity to work with me live during that time period. And again, that is a free gift to you. And thank you as being a member of Course Creators Academy. So feel free to join us in that. And then also, if you're feeling stuck, I want you to make sure that you're checking the classroom, going through each of the modules. You know, the way I particularly like to learn, and you can follow this as well, is I like to go through the content first and kind of like really get myself familiarized with the teaching in each module. And then after I've watched that module, then I will go back and take the aligned action. So, you know, you can pick and choose how you want to do it. Maybe you want to watch it and do the aligned action all at the same time. It's up to you how you want to do it. But the lessons are all unlocked in the academy. So what I really recommend is that you don't just go through the entire course and not take action, because that's not going to help you. That's just going to overwhelm you more than anything if you just keep consuming and consuming and not taking action on what you're learning. Real skill development and growth comes through taking action, through creating a hypothesis, making, an estimate of, if I do this, it's going to have this particular outcome. That's what we call a hypothesis. And the only way to test that hypothesis is by taking action and then reviewing the data from the action that we've taken. So once we have completed the particular action, we want to look at what's worked, what's not working, and where we can continue to improve and rinse and repeat, right? So make sure that you're going through the modules, that you're taking aligned action, that if you would like to post your homework in the Facebook group, this is a community group, right? It's the community container. So provide feedback to one another, give and receive here. So, the more you give, the more you're going to receive. So provide feedback to one another. We all come with different levels of skill sets and experience levels. So some are, in the very beginning stages of brand new to building a business. Others have, maybe particular launch before, has gone to plan or not going to plan. We're all at various different levels. So please, I encourage you to support one another. And then as well, if you want my feedback on anything that you're working on, go ahead and tag me for me to be able to look at the question that you have and to give you some feedback on the assignment that you're working on, as well as posting your questions under the live Q&A session or section each week for me to go through your questions live. So we're all here together. We're all here to support you. I hope you're excited. I cannot wait to see all of the online courses and coaching programs that you are bringing to life. All of, is your lived experience. All of these experiences are what makes you the expert in what you're teaching, right? I believe that we're all given gifts and talents and expertise for a reason. And I believe there's people out there that need that and want that to learn from the people that have gone before them and gone through all the hard times and trying to figuring out what works and what doesn't and so forth. And that's what makes you the expert for what it is that you have to offer to your clients. So a couple of the questions I wanted to dive into, let me just check the chat here to see if we have any questions, and if we do, as we're going along, let me just actually put this in the group really quick. Feel free to drop those questions and we will be going through those together. But I did, hang on, let me not multitask. One second. Okay. So at the end of, I'm still in the process of debriefing my most recent launch. And I'll just be honest, my recent launch did not go to plan as I had hoped. And it's really important to kind of look at, again, like what's worked, what's not worked, and where we can improve on. So I'm working with that with my team to really dive into all of that, right? To really look at the numbers. And we went through a whole round recently of updating all of the assets in my business as it pertains to Course Creators Academy. I have several online courses and coaching programs in my business, right? So I have Course Creators Academy, I have Course Launch Mastery Society, which will actually be coming to you live in Q3. I have Signature Course Launch System, and then I have other courses and programs that I have launched in the beginning of my business. The 5-Figure Genius Academy, Called to Serve, it was my 90-day mastermind program. So I have lots of different courses and programs that I've worked with over the period. And those are my bigger ones. I have smaller ones too. With all that said, we revamped, kind of those of you that know me know that my backstory a little bit is that, I started working with clients in the beginning of my business in 2019 with one-on-one client packages is what I sold, and worked with people to get the transformations that they were working on, each relatively related to business, but some, because it was a unique experience and customized to them, some had more of a mindset component to it than a business component, some both. Some didn't really even need the mindset component, just needed the skill development and so forth. So after that, then I moved to working with people in group coaching programs where I was delivering the content with them live each and every week. Eventually, I transformed that into pre-recording the content, dropping the content each week for them the students to be able to consume. And then we had 2 live Q&A sessions for the students each week. And then I went into a mastermind program. Well, a couple of years ago, through all of that time frame, different levels I transformed, because, when you're working with one-on-one clients, as you well know, if you're a service provider, you know that your time is limited, right? You can only take so many students at one time. So not only is your time limited, but your income ends up getting capped because you can only take on so many clients at a time to be able to service them, as well as if you're wearing the hats as the marketer in your business, then you're also having to, be responsible for the bringing in, new leads and nurturing to convert those leads and so forth. So that's why I transitioned out of one-on-one into group coaching programs initially and so forth. Well, then my father got ill and he had 2 different forms of cancer, and I really wanted to be there for my parents and really help them through chemotherapy and radiation, and also with my daughter and her health issues, just needing more flexibility and not feeling that internal pressure. Let me know if this is you, of, always worrying about when am I going to get content done, when am I going to get the content done, and making sure that I was meeting my deadlines and commitments and so forth. So I really wanted to come up with a way that I could automate almost everything in my business, automate everything that didn't need my voice in my face, to have my business running on autopilot. Because the other way around, when I didn't have automation in my business, if I wasn't out there on the front end doing all of the marketing to generate new leads and having systems set up in place that was nurturing through conversion to those leads, when I was deep into serving my clients and falling short on the other end, it was kind of like these yo-yo launch cycles that, you'd have this big cash influx from, your last launch, but now you're working with clients and it gets to be towards the end of that launch or that delivery period, and now you've got to start over. You're basically starting over from zero again because you didn't have that system set up in the beginning of the business to continue to draw in leads and nurture them along the way. So with all of that said, that's when I created an evergreen scalable system in my business, to having not only the content within the classroom. So I built a website on WordPress and my learning management system on MemberPress. So all of my courses now live on MemberPress. So all of the content is available to you 24/7. You, from the minute you land on an ad to learning about me and opting into my freebies, then there's welcome sequences that are set up in place that automatically nurture and convert my clients. And then I host on top of it additional workshops each month as different conversion vehicles to help generate more cash into the business, right? So, but ultimately, the one immediate goal, and what I really want you to take from this, is really setting yourself up for success to begin with, and setting up some automation and some systems in your business to where the lead generation and the nurture piece is set up for you, put on autopilot. You put as less, $5 a day into an ad budget to be able to start generating leads on autopilot is a great sweet spot to start with. So with all of that said, in the gross order, we went through everything with Course Creators Academy, and my team and I, we updated the sales page for Course Creators Academy, really dialing in the marketing and the messaging for the audience that is the perfect fit for Course Creators Academy. And then we went through and really built out new welcomes, like, revamping the lead magnets, and then going through and making sure that we had a sound first rendition, is that the word? Rendition of the full sequence, the welcome sequence. So you basically have a series of emails that a user and a new lead, once they come into your world and get into your email system, will get. And so it includes a welcome sequence, a sequence to build trust. And then once you build that know, like, trust, towards the end of that sequence, you move into the sales sequence, and the sales sequence then pitches your offer. So we revamped all of that. And then we also added in the workshop conversion event. So over here on autopilot through Facebook ads, Meta ads, I have the lead magnet set up. So I have a budget that goes to the lead magnets every day. It generates leads into the business. The leads then get into my email list, and then they're in a series of emails that welcome them, deliver the freebie, nurture them, and then make the offer. And then on the back end of it, we also have promotional events. So that is the workshop. So with the workshop, we also have emails that go along with that workshop, as well as social media posts. So these would be emails announcing and promoting the workshop. And then we have reminder emails that go through, say, hey, like, we're getting ready to start the workshop, and going through that countdown on workshop day. And then I deliver the workshop, and then there's a series of emails that go out that, send out the replay of the workshop. And then we go into the next series that we created and launched, was the emails to pitch the beta offer, the beta early bird and pay in full offer for Course Creators Academy. So all of that beautiful ecosystem, like, feels so amazing to have all of that really, dialed in and working for you, and as well as those social media content. We had all of the same content to, basically announce and promote the workshop, which I do that through Instagram primarily as my channel. It's another shift I made in the business. I was primarily in years past Facebook, and then sharing over a little bit to business. But now the traffic strategies and visibility strategies I have in the business are ads, YouTube, YouTube, email marketing, and Instagram, and then kind of repurposing to Facebook. With the algorithm being down on Facebook, we've switched over to that model. So that's kind of like my trifecta of kind of looking at the funnel itself on, tracking the leads, primarily relying on paid marketing for that, and then also utilizing YouTube so we can have some longer form pieces of content out there that you can get in my presence. You can, see my face, you can hear my voice, you can learn from me, and a lot quicker than what you can necessarily through an email or through even on social media, where it be a reel or a carousel or story. You get a lot more longer form content to build, and it kind of closes that gap from just becoming aware of somebody and looking at sales funnel to starting to build that trust factor to move towards conversion. So that is YouTube videos. In my target right now, my goal right now is a once a week YouTube video. So then I can repurpose that in my marketing, email marketing, social media marketing, and so forth, to be able to nurture my clients and or my leads. So even within the nurture sequences, the welcome and nurture sequences, once you get your lead magnet, you go into those, and I put these longer form videos in there so it can go ahead, almost acting like a VSL, but video sales letter. So where it's, educating my students without even having to wait for a workshop. So that is all really starting to work. So with that, we set some pretty lofty goals for the business. We did sign some new clients into Course Creators Academy. Really excited about that. We did not hit the income target that we were looking for. So with that said, now that we have all of these pieces, what we're doing now is going back and collecting the data, looking at everything from the data on the Facebook ads themselves or the meta ads, what were our click-through rates, was our cost per lead, what was our CPMs, all of that, and really looking at, where can we make improvements in that. And so far that's looking like the messaging is on point, but we have some opportunity to put some different visual variations in those messaging to try to acquire some more leads at a lower cost per lead. So we've got opportunity there. The next piece of it is really analyzing all of the emails that went out. So, also, not only analyzing the subject lines and seeing how many people out of the audience that I have built, how many people actually open the email. And that's a kind of looking at that number comes from the open rates come from the subject line. So how compelling was the subject line that anybody on the list actually opened the email, right? Because if you don't get them to open the email isn't going to do its job. So, and then we look at the copy in the email, and we look at, how many people clicked on the offer in the particular email and so forth. So once we start to get that data and really go back and look at, where those numbers lie, that will give some answers on where we can optimize, and starting with optimizing subject lines, right? So we've got that opportunity. And then also what I did, looking at all of that, we need to also look at the sales page. So from all of the people that opted into the emails, that also from a social media perspective, that responded to a keyword call to action. And I also use mini chat automation to help deliver. So when somebody comments a particular keyword, say the keyword is course, I have automation set up in the business that as soon as that keyword is typed out, an automation is triggered that automatically then delivers the message. Say, hey, I saw that you were interested in my 1-hour course clarity workshop. Would you like me to send you the link? And then, of course, they say yes. I send them the link, and then it automatically delivers them to the opt-in page, and then they can opt in. So that is another incredible way to have automation set up in your business, that you're not the lead isn't like at 12 o'clock at night, opting, commenting that keyword, and then they're waiting for you to then, see that notification on Instagram or Facebook or wherever you're doing the marketing, and then manually getting into the DMs and sending them a DM, a direct message with that link. When by that time, several hours, if not days, have passed if you haven't had the opportunity to follow up with those leads. So all of that is, happening on autopilot. This is what we teach in the academy. This is what we teach in Course Launch Mastery Society and so forth. And so when we didn't get the uptake as much on the beta, we really looked at what else could we offer in the academy. So we also offered in a bundle with the academy. As the price went up, we wanted to provide more value. So right now the academy is at $997. The value of the academy itself is $1,497. It's actually worth a lot more, but that's what we've got on the sales page right now, because it does include 12-month access to the signature course launch system, which is currently priced at $777 for the year, and it has access to Course Launch Mastery Society, which starts in Q3. So you're not getting one course for the price of one, you're getting 3 courses and access for the price of one. So it's an incredible, incredible offer. If you're catching this live, because I am streaming to YouTube and you're hearing about this and you're interested, just comment Academy in the comments below and I will follow up with you. So with all of that said, we then decided to go back to our audience and complete or create a survey for the audience that went through the funnel, so to speak, for the academy, and ask, letting them know it didn't go to plan, and we wanted to hear from our audience to understand better why they didn't buy. Like, was it timing? Was it price? Was it, this offer isn't for me? There's various reasons. So we did get some feedback on that, and I really thank the people that did respond to that did not opt into CCA. So for providing feedback for that, and also I offered some strategy calls and personalized roadmap strategy sessions for the participants that did respond to the survey as a thank you, and to really help them get their course mapped out, planned out, and ready to be able to create and launch. So with all of that, the couple of questions and feedback that came up that I thought would be a good opportunity to cover in this training today would be talking about, like, one of the questions and problems that that participants or that answered the survey were having, and I know a lot of students that come to me have, is how do I know if my course idea is too broad or too niche? So that's a really good question. I'm really trying to understand, like, what that transformation is. And let me just find my mouse here. What that transformation is that you're offering and really validating. And I apologize if there's any typos, or I made these slides kind of last minute to be able to show you, and I haven't really gone through them. So you may see some arrows, but that's okay. It still gives you the picture. So when you're looking at identifying a transformation for an online course, the first thing, you want to have a clear starting point of, like, where the student should go from this, we call it an A to B journey. So when you're kind of looking at your course topic idea, you really want to make sure that you have a clear transformation statement. So what is the promise? What are you promising these clients are going to have achieved, have done, have, accomplished by the end of your course together? Like, what results should they be able to see? So it's really important, like, for instance, if you are helping somebody to be able to, if you use like a weight loss journey, you help somebody, you've had this experience, you've been able to drop 25 pounds like post baby. So maybe you were a new mom and you had a baby and you were able to lose like those last stubborn 25 pounds, and that's your transformation. That through working with me, you'll have learned my step-by-step methodology to be able to implement into your business, into your life, to be able to shed those last 25 pounds, say within like a 90-day period, if that I'm not a weight loss coach, so that might not be realistic, but that's the example. So it's a clearly defined transformation in their head. The clients know that the ones that are, in that market for that particular offer know that by the end of the program, I will be equipped with all of the tools and empowered with all the tools to be able to lose this weight. And if that student then applies it, they can expect to have that result, similar results and or better, right? So you need to really make sure that you understand what that transformation is. And once you have that transformation, then you can really, speak to that because it has been your experience, and you'll be able to reverse engineer the steps that you took to get from being overweight by that 25 pounds to have shedding that 25 pounds, and know those steps that you took, those things that you implemented during that process to be able to lose that weight. So, you want to make sure that you have one clear transformation in your online course. You don't want the transformation to be too big. So if I were, for instance, talking about Course Creators Academy, if I were teaching you how to scale an online business from, idea to scaling your business to a multiple seven-figure business, that would be a really long course, right? Because there's a lot of steps and a lot of skills that you need to develop as a business owner to be able to go from being a brand new online course creator and coach to scaling to seven figures. And what can happen is that if you make that course too big, it can really overwhelm your students and they don't see the results or the success that they're expecting in a short period of time. And that can relate to like a lot of overwhelm for them. It can relate to being, having a lot of churn, maybe people asking for refunds and so forth because they don't feel like they're getting the results that the course expected or promised to give. So you really want to make sure that you're solving one problem, like one main problem for your course, and it's not too big. If it gets to be too big in the way like I did the academy, and so Course Creators Academy, in the Course Creators Academy course, you are learning how to design, develop, and run profitable and engaging online courses and coaching programs, no matter what your audience size is, in 60 days or less. So I'm setting you up for success to be able to create that course. Well, the next step, and deliver the course, right? Well, the next step is then how do you market, launch, and sell that online course? So that's what Course Launch Mastery Society is all about, is all of the various marketing strategies to be able to take that course now that you've created, and then how to market it and sell it, right? And how to get those systems set up in place where you can sell the like automated marketing strategies and having things set up on autopilot for you. And then the next piece of the in my ecosystem is a signature course launch system. So how can you develop a signature system that you can package into multiple products and services in your product suite to really be able to scale your business? So think of that from that perspective, and I hope that answers that question. You don't want to solve too many problems. You really want to have the sweet spot here, which is your experience. When you're looking at experience and market demand and a monetizable transformation, we really want to make sure that you're, before you even create it, that you're validating that there is market demand for this course. And we have some modules inside of the academy that really dive into this, and this is where, when you're going through module 1 and choosing your course topic, that you are really diving into how to do that market research. But simple ways that you can do this is by offering to getting in front of your ideal client and offering some free strategy calls or free clarity calls sessions with these people to be able to hear from them firsthand what they're experiencing, what their problems are, their pain points are, what kind of online course they would like to have, if what you're thinking of would be of interest to them, why or why not. That is the best way to get like market research. The other way too is to really go through in lesson 2 of module 1, we really go through and really helping you to be able to do this market research. So you can poll your audience by sending them like a Google survey, or having questions in the email. You can use your stories, like your Instagram stories or Facebook stories, and have polls on there asking, if they have any particular interest in, being able to do X, Y, Z. If you had I'm looking for 3 people that want to, get this particular result in this particular period of time, raise your hand if that's something that interests you. And those people, if you have at least one person that is responding to those polls or to that market research, whether, it's via phone calls, it's via polls that you're doing, it's via looking in other Facebook groups, Quora, online hubs that you can go to be able to kind of see the questions that people are asking. Looking in, you can look on Amazon as well and see if there are any books about the topic that you're wanting to create a course about. If there are any courses about the topic that you want to create a course about, like checking to see what your competitors are offering. You want there to be people in your particular niche that are servicing your clients, right? That's the sweet spot. That's where you want to be, because you know that there is market demand for that particular online course or coaching program when you're in this sweet spot, when you're taking your experiences, your expertise, your gifts, you're marrying it with market demand. You're seeing that the easiest one, seeing that your competitors have similar courses, coaching programs, masterminds, and so forth, serving the same audience with a offering that offers similar transformation that you want to offer. And then it's monetizable transformation, meaning that people are willing to invest money into solving this problem. That is your sweet spot. And then so you want to run your ideas, run it through a structured evaluation. So again, you want to make sure that you have one specific outcome that you're helping people with. Too many problems, again, make it unfocused, make it like confusing to clients. They're not even sure what it is you're selling, or what it is that they would be getting out of there. And a confused client, a confused market never buys, right? If you confuse, you lose. So any questions about that as you're working through module 1, where you're choosing your course topic, post your ideas over in the Facebook group. We'd be happy to give feedback on those and, let you know whether or not it is a winning idea. As well as we can also utilize ChatGPT, Perplexity, Claude AI. Those are also really, really good tools to really help you validate and dig deeper in. And we'll do some workshops around that too, but to dig deeper into that course idea to really help you to be able to validate that offer. So let me know if you have any questions around that before we move forward. All right. So the next question that we have is, what if someone else created a course on my topic? And that kind of piggies back on what I was just saying. Like, that's a good thing, because if someone else has created an online course or coaching program, it means that, around that particular topic, it means that people are paying for that transformation. That is incredible validation that people are willing to invest money, time, and energy into solving that particular problem that you are having a desire to solve. So you're not selling information here, you're selling your experience, you're selling your story, your methodology, your energy, your learned wisdom that only you got through going through that transformation yourself. That is what's going to help you to be able to stand out in a crowded market. So this, competition, if you want to see it that way, competition is a good thing in business. Like, you don't want to be the first to market with an idea that you just kind of pulled out of thin air and have no validation out there to even see if it's something that people would buy. Especially don't want to go through creating it, building out not only the curriculum and the learning objectives, but building out the actual content itself without actually testing to see that people are willing to be able to invest money into it. So you want this competition, right? You want to be able to sell your unique story and your unique approach and methodology, your wisdom. That's what's going to help you stand out there. That's where your unique selling position and proposition is going to come from, because you're going to have a different experience than your local competitors or your competition is going to have. Maybe the outcome is the same. Maybe they lost the same 25 pounds after experiencing birth, right? But maybe their whole experience of the way they did it, the way they got there was completely different. You could have somebody that, maybe they used a paleo diet to be able to, quit eating carbs, things like that, to be able to lose that weight. You may have other people who really watch their macros and, really ate really clean, got a lot of protein and fiber and watch their macronutrients. You maybe have somebody that really incorporated exercise. Maybe there's, somebody that really incorporated mindset, or a combination of all of the above. So everybody has their own unique experience through getting to a particular result. So don't think, if you're seeing that out there, that that's a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. And you're going to be able to, stand out through this with your audience and really connect with your audience, because they're going to see themselves in you. They're going to see themselves in your story. So the more you can share your truth, the more you can share your experience and really documenting what you went through and how you came to that particular transformation and telling those stories, that is just pure gold for your ideal clients and for helping them go through this transformation. That's what you're selling. You're not just selling something that people can Google, or ask ChatGPT, how do I do X, Y, Z, and it gives you the steps. The information is available to all of us at our fingertips 24/7. Like, you can watch YouTube videos, you can listen to podcasts, you can read books. Like, there's all kinds of ways to get the information. That they're not just buying information; they're investing in you as their mentor, right? They're investing in your strategy, in your methodology, in your support to be able to help them be, especially too as a coach. If you're offering that to your students and having a coaching component, it's going to help them to be able to identify the blind spots that maybe they don't see, right? To help them course correct, and all of those things that they think they were following through. But how many of you like have had an aha moment even in this training, that maybe you hadn't thought about something just because of the story that I told, or the way, that I transmuted the information to you, as well as being open and hearing. Sometimes, we don't always hear things the first time around, second time around. Maybe it's the third time you watch this recording and this replay of this recording that you actually heard something, because it landed at a different time based on where you are in your experience. So standing out in a crowded market, that's what you really want to focus on, is, having your clear transformation, having your clear A to B method, understanding where your clients are at that point A, before working with you, where they're going to be at point B after working with you, and what those steps are that bridge, what's that transformational journey that bridges the gap between the A to B, that helps them to be able to be successful in your program. And then the next question I got is how to confidently pre-sell before you've created a course. So how many of you, share with me a one in the comments below if you've ever pre-sold an online course? Let me just check the chat here. Let me know if you've ever pre-sold an online course or coaching program. All right, so this is something also that if you were in my 1 hour course clarity workshop in April, or if you purchased the replay bundle, that's still for sale for $3. The prices will be going up on that. So if you want to grab that, you can go ahead and get that now. That is for sale. So you can drop bundle below, and I'll send you the link, and I'll also put it in the comments below after this. But looking at pre-selling an online course or coaching program is really, really incredible, because you can get paid to be able to create your online course before you've ever created a thing, right? Before you've ever created a module, before you've ever created, a lesson plan, a tangible deliverable, all of those things. So what you want to do with pre-selling that is really making sure that you understand what the promise is. So we've talked about that already here in this video, of understanding what that transformation is that you're going to be guiding your students through. So what's the promised outcome of your online course or coaching program? And then what's the path? So understanding, again, where clients are before working with you, where they are working after working with you, and what's that transformational path that they're going through. What are those steps? Those steps can look like, 3 to 5 phases that they're going through, which are like the milestones. And then within each, you have a series of lessons, anywhere 3, 5, 8 lessons that make up each particular module, as well as you have an action step for them to be able to implement what it is you're teaching them. So that's how I like to bookmark my modules with a introduction, the lessons that make up, if you kind of think about each module, it's like its own little mini A to B, and your greater A to B transformational journey, meaning that every module has a before state and an after state. So it's its own mini A to B, and then you're going through the lessons that help you bridge that gap to be able to have the outcome that that module promises. And then so I like to start with the intro, the lessons, the learning, the homework, and then the outro, which then recaps what your students have learned in that particular lesson, and you then introduce what they're going to be looking forward to learn in the next module. You're always selling the transformation, right? Selling doesn't stop once you've closed the deal and you've taken payment. Selling always continues because you always have to remind students why they need to do the work to be able to get the result that they wanted and why they signed up for your course. So once you understand that promise and that path, then you can create a beta offer, which essentially can be as simple as, if you're posting on social media, maybe you've made a post or a reel or a story or an email, you can essentially just say, here is the offer. So you have a clear understanding of what that curriculum is, the description of the course, saying, I'm walking 5 people through this live to help shape the online course, right? So I'm building it with my students to really help shape it. You've created this hypothesis of what the transformation is and the steps to be able to take your clients through that transformation, but you never really know 100% for sure whether things are in the right order or in the right steps, or maybe you need to dive deeper on a topic or so forth until you really start working with clients. And because everybody again comes to you with different levels of awareness, different levels of experience and expertise and skill level. So they're all going to be on different playing fields, right? So some people are going to pick it up a lot quicker than others and so forth. So really building it with people and running your beta around a couple of times is really ideal before you then package it into an evergreen scalable offer that can be just sold on autopilot 24/7 and be a standalone course that maybe you don't offer coaching with per se. So it's a self-study course. So that is a way, once you've done that, you've really gotten clear on what this promise and path is. You've pitched that offer out into existence. You've put it in front of people that are your ideal client, offering a particular, like maybe you're offering it 50% off, or you have a certain discount for these beta students because they are willing to shape it with you and get this transformation with you, as well as they get more time with you than they will ever get, like when this is, especially if you turn it into an evergreen scalable product, that eventually it's a self-paced course, they're not going to have that kind of access to you. So you can invite people strategically to it. You can use social posts. You can use stories. You can speak to warm people in the DMs. So for instance, like if you have people that are raising their hand for interest in that particular topic, then you can connect with them in the direct messenger and have conversations with those students to see if this is something that, understanding where they're at, what their pain points are, what the problems are, and making an offer to see if this is something that they would be interested in. So this is way before, you've created a sales page, you've created marketing campaigns, any of that. It's really just boiling it down to, doing your market research, understanding, what that offer is, what your transformation statement is, what your A to B journey is, and then putting together like that package, understanding like how long it's going to be, who it's for, what's included, those types of things. What kind of delivery container are you going to be offering it in? Are you going to have it in a Facebook group? Are you going to be doing it over live Zoom calls? Are you going to be doing it over, live sessions like what we're doing here, where you're streaming through StreamYard to YouTube, so to speak. You have a community that they can ask questions to, or into the community for you to answer. Do you have email support? Do you have Boxer support? Like there's many, many different ways, and we teach all of this in the academy as well, so you'll be able to see that. So invite people to that offer. Once you get interest in that offer and you've got your first paying client, then you have market validation. You have truly had people say yes to that offer, put dollars into, they voted with their dollars. Then you have a winning offer on your hand that you can continue now to scale out further with your sales and marketing, and creating like your sales pages and so forth. Any questions on that, let me know. All right, we'll go a little bit further here. So another question I had was, what is the simplest tech stack to launch my first course? So I don't want you to over complicate this. You can very easily rack up a lot of expenses if you start investing into a lot of tech, as well as every piece of software that you implement into your business is going to have a learning curve to understand how the software works, how to use it, how to optimize it, and so forth in your business. So at the very minimal, scrappy level, really having, once you have your course idea, you can use either Google Docs and slides, or you can use, if you're a Microsoft Office suite, you can use Microsoft Office. So you can do your Word documents, you can do your PowerPoint slides in that. So basically you have a way to create your content and to be able to deliver it. So in creating slides, there's also, even these slides here, there's a incredible AI. I'll teach you how to use all of this, but there's a AI app called Gamma that once you create your curriculum, your content, you just plug your content in there, and within seconds, the automation, the AI tool, will create your slides for you. So, and you can do that for free. You don't have to pay for that. I'm sure there's other levels in the packaging you can, but that will really, really help save you a ton of time and help you to create really professionalized output for your content with slide presentations. And these I use the illustration, but you can also use images, you can use AI images, you can upload your own images into these, and we'll go through when we're diving into tech how to use this. But don't overcomplicate it. You can also use a free Canva account to create your slides, or you can do just using the slides in Canva or in Microsoft Office. You're either going to need Zoom or StreamYard. I personally love StreamYard because you can do so much with StreamYard. You can share your screen, you can stream over to Facebook and to YouTube, you can bring on guests for participants with you to be on camera. You can share all of the comments. That's what I really like about the comments. You can post them up on the screen so everybody can see the comments and questions that people are asking. So that is all available to you for that as well. I believe you can get a free Zoom account, I want to say, but it only goes up to 45 minutes, I think, a session. So after that, I want to believe it's $13 a month or something like that. StreamYard right now, the paid version I have of StreamYard is about $45 a month. So that one is a little bit pricier. So just, be selective, and you can always start with one and then transition to another as your business starts to get bigger. So that is also an option. You can also record Zoom videos and have that and be able to host those on a private YouTube channel as well for your hosting. You can host in a Facebook group. So one of my first courses when I first started teaching group coaching programs, I hosted in Facebook groups. I know you do have to be careful with Facebook groups now because they're deleting a lot of that content out there. So you want to make sure that you're downloading that content and you're storing that either in your cloud or in another storage facility and backing up that. MailerLite is who I use for email automation. So for MailerLite, I believe up to your first 1,000 subscribers on your email list, you can get a free email or MailerLite account. Things I've also used in the past are ActiveCampaign. They've gotten really expensive, so I don't really refer them much anymore, but MailerLite definitely I've heard a lot of people do ConvertKit, students using MailChimp and so forth. So, just kind of look at the automation, and inside the Academy, I have a tools and resource list for you to look at all of the various ones that I've worked with, that I recommend, that other students recommend, and so forth. So you can, kind of check them out and see what works for you. For collecting payments, you can use Stripe. So let me just look here. So you can use Stripe or PayPal. I really love Stripe. I've also used MoonClerk in the past. MoonClerk kind of works with Stripe, so you can build more like robust packages on MoonClerk. The only thing with MoonClerk, I think there's like a $15 a month subscription fee for MoonClerk, and then Stripe is going to take out a payment. So Stripe is really all you need, and Stripe is only going to take out a percentage of the payment once you've made a sale. So it doesn't have a monthly fee for the subscription service itself. And PayPal works very similar to that. I have everything built out on WordPress and MemberPress, and then I use upsell plugins. So I think it's like $99 a year, I think, for the upsell plugin. But what I like about the upsell plugin is that I can offer order bumps, right? And upsells to my offers. If you kind of look at a particular offer like Course Creators Academy, then it offers some additional products that you can just one click, and the buyer does not have to, the purchaser does not have to put their credit card details in it. Again, it'll just automatically add that to their order and offer one-time offers as well on that. So those are some, if you have any questions about that or want to dive deeper, and let me know on that. But you definitely need a way to be able to, get your content in front of people. So creating your course itself, kind of recapping here, you want to make sure that you've got Google Docs or you've got Word Docs, you've got your slides for your outline. Again, you can use, like I used in this presentation for you today, I use Gamma, Gamma, to help me create the slides. You can also use Canva. You can also import these slides into Canva and kind of clean them up and, make them prettier and so forth. But you don't have to overcomplicate it, right? You want to keep it simple when you're getting started. The simple recording. So again, using, I use a what do you call it, camcorder? We don't know. That thing. You can use your phone. So if you have an iPhone, you can use your phone for recording, and then whatever this thing is on, I forget what it's called, the camera that goes over the top of your computer. So you can use those as well for recording, and then making sure that you are uploading, again, a private YouTube channel. You can upload and host all of your recordings on that particular outlet, and then using Zoom or StreamYard to be able to help you record that or stream that content as well. So lots of different options for an online learning portal. Again, you can use Facebook groups. You can also use Google Sheets or PDFs. So I've had courses like that before too, or email delivery, where you take the embed code from the YouTube video once you've uploaded it and posted it on YouTube, and then you import that into your document, whether it's a Word doc that you turn into a PDF, or it's a Google Sheet, or it is a putting it in your email as a hyperlink in your email. You can drip feed it, your course, through email delivery too. So those are all great options, no to low cost options for you to be able to deliver your content. All right, so the last question here that I wanted to go over was that I've launched before and I didn't get results. What should I do differently now? I always say you need to debrief, right? So if you need to do like what we talked about in the beginning of this video, and if you didn't really catch it, go back, take some notes, jot down some of the things that I was talking about that my team and I are going through, and that we go through each launch, is really understanding like what worked, what didn't work, and what you can improve on. So you definitely want to start with your messaging. So looking at all of those pieces of content from your email marketing, your social media marketing, all of those things, and look at, was it clear? Was it emotional? Was it urgent? Was the offer clear? Were the subject lines compelling? Did people even click into the email? If you're running paid marketing, you're running advertising, looking at those ads, what are the KPIs on those ads? And we dive more into those in Course Launch Mastery Society, but looking at with those target ads, what was your cost per lead, what was your cost per million, what was your CTOR, like looking at all of those to really help you identify, do you have an opportunity in the messaging? Does the graphic, is it scroll stopping? People actually even stopping on it to click into the message. So there's lots of clues, basically, lots of KPIs that you can measure that help you understand where there's opportunity to improve. But it's kind of like, building a house. This is the foundation of your business. And, you're not just going to build it and never touch it again if it were your house, right? You're going to continue to tweak it, to improve it, to, modify it over time to make it better and better and better. It's the same way with the assets in your business, right? So you want to make sure that you're going through those and you're really understanding the data. Were people opting in? Did they not take your offer? Why didn't they take your offer? Did you do a survey? Did you speak to them to better understand why they did or didn't take your offer? Did they even see the emails? Right? Were you consistently delivering this content? Is there areas of opportunity for you to be more visible, to post more during a launch period, those types of things? Were you leading with connection or just information? Were you really telling your story of transformation? Were you sharing testimonials from clients or students that you've worked with? And if this is your first online course or coaching program, that is fine because you are your own case study, right? So were you sharing enough of your story and of your experience that people could really see themselves as wanting to work with you and see themselves in getting that particular transformation for themselves? Were you focusing on just one win? So go for like high touch, not high polish, right? So, you can have the fanciest slides, you can have the fanciest website, most beautiful sales page, all of that, but that's not what converts. You are the reason people are going to work with you, right? So don't stop there. I want you to treat your past launches as data, like you made, going back, to thinking about that scientific experiment again. You created a hypothesis and you determined that, here's a good course idea, and you went through all of that to, understand the market and to make sure that there was, market demand for your particular course and what you should include it and the pricing and the bonuses and all of those things. That's all a hypothesis, and people either took it or they didn't take it, or, you didn't get the number of sales that you wanted from it. What can you do to improve it? If there's a post one of my previous coaches put out there that basically said if you made $100, you can make $1,000. If you've made $1,000, you can make 10,000. If you made 10,000, you can make 100,000, and so forth. And I saw that post like probably back in 2019, and it sticks in my head all of the time. Once you have validation, people have voted with their dollars and said yes to that offer, you have validated that it is a winning offer. So now our goal is to really making sure that we understand, what is working, what's not working, and where we continue to improve the assets in our business to continue to launch again, to go out there, make another hypothesis, find another entry point, find another angle in our messaging to be able to get better and better and better at it. Not jump ship, right? Not, and I've done this. You don't want to jump ship. You don't want to toss out the baby with the bathwater. If it is working, let's continue to tweak it and make it even better. So I hope this is the end of this training. I hope that this live Q&A was helpful. I want to remind you that we are building this system together, this scalable online course and coaching business together with one small win at a time. Everything is a win. Everything that you do in your business on a day-to-day basis is casting a vote for the identity that you are creating and that you're stepping into, the already successful multiple 7-figure, 8-figure business owner, whatever that is, that vision for yourself that you've cast, what we were talking about in the very beginning. Who is it that you want to grow into, right? You are already that man or woman now. That success is already done. Being very clear on it, being very clear not only with the vision that you have, but by the actions that you're taking on a daily basis. Are these actions that you're taking paying into casting votes that are leading you towards the assumption of that vision that you have for yourself, right? So Are you, like, if you, for instance, another way of saying that is like if you really wanted to become healthy and you wanted to, start running 5Ks or so forth, like, are you doing the actions every day that are leading you to being a marathon runner, right? Are you, getting out there and putting on your tennis shoes and getting out there and running every day? Are you, eating right? Are you drinking enough water? Are you, like, if you're taking supplements or getting sleep, or like, those would be all, like, potentially, in my opinion, things that would help develop someone into being a marathon runner, right? So if you're looking for that for you and your business, like, and being a successful online coach and course creator, what does that ultimate vision of you look like? And are the actions, are you voting with your actions, right? Are you doing the things necessary? Even if it's scary, it's okay. Everything is scary before we do it, before we develop those skills. So I want you to know you're not alone. Like, we all are on various stages of the same journey of evolving into that ultimate version of yourself. But I want you to celebrate all of those wins every day. Like, when you just at least do one thing that pays into casting those votes to being the ultimate version of yourself, that is something to celebrate, right? And those wins help you gain momentum. So making sure that you're putting everything that we've been talking about in action. If anything that I've talked about here on this live training, that you need more feedback on, that you need more help with, be sure to post your questions in the Facebook group in Course Creators Academy, and respond to one another. Again, this is community, so help each other out. Tag me if you have particular questions, and then if you needs specific feedback on your homework, let us know that too. And also make sure that you register for the 1 hour course clarity workshop on May 29th at 12 p.m. Eastern. So we'd love to see you over there. If you are already, like, if you were in April session, that's okay. May session is going to be even better. So make sure you come to that and bring any of your questions that you have to that session as well, and we will help you with that. So remember, focus on those small wins. Every win builds trust in yourself, that you're staying in integrity with yourself and with your word, and helping you to become the ultimate version of you that you've decided to be, and reaching the goals that you've decided for yourself together. Be Again, if you are in one of the beta groups, you also, in offering beta sessions to your students, this is, you're building it together with them, and know how important that is to build it together, to not build things in a cave. You want to build it with your students so you can help to make sure it's the best session ever, and to make sure that you are coming to the workshop. We would love to have you there. So we are stronger when we grow together, support one another in the community. And I really just want to thank you so much for being here. Again, keep dropping your questions in the community for our next live Q&A. And thank you so much for staying with me to the end. And I can't wait to see you in the Academy and in the upcoming workshop. So we'll see you, and bye for now.